Can we talk about how you want an AI robot lawnmower?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you're so terrified of robots. And even for the most basic BS things, like it can get hacked. This is how James Cameron warned us about this. It can have a mind of its own. James Cameron, Terminator, James Cameron. It's
But
a
here's the
robot.
thing. Here's the
No, I
thing.
thought about this when we talked about it on the radio earlier. You said, "Oh, I'll just hose it down and like short circuit
Yeah.
it." Bro, these are lawn mowers that clearly have some kind of water resistant like protection to it. Like clearly, grass is going to be wet sometime.
I feel like I could take it down. Hey, Matt. How's it going?
Dude.
I mean, I feel like I quite literally just stormed in.
Yeah,
No, we were
so
talking about AI and lawnmowers that mow themselves, and I feel like I want one, even though I'm scared of AI.
I feel like that's the most practical use for AI.
Right?
Point. Like,
There
okay,
you
but
go.
Matt, you need some context here. We talk about this a lot on our radio show where Eddie is so afraid of robots. He cites Terminator and James Cameron all the time. Legit fears. But he is so afraid. He doesn't want like any kind of advancements other than what we have. He's afraid robots will get hacked or get a mind of its own. But yet he wants a lawnmower that can work itself and has razor sword arms. It makes
They're
no sense.
small. I can take it. I can't take down a Terminator, but I can take that down easily.
I feel
That's
like
how I look at it.
if we started using AI for like household chores, it would be maybe a little less scary. Like if it was a laundry thing or a dishes thing.
Exactly.
No, Eddie, don't even turn. I brought this up before. He wants nothing to do with it. He's just
I
trying-
get that. I get
he's
that.
putting on a brave face for you, Matt.
No, I mean, yeah, it's for sure scary. I get it.
Matt, thanks for jumping in, man. We appreciate you. Winnetka Bowling League out of San Fernando, right?
Sure, yeah. We're in the valley. So yeah, the San Fernando Valley. That makes sense. We're in Los Angeles, so we always just call it the Valley. We never say San Fernando Valley. But
So being from Wisconsin, explain to me the valley in California, because I hear that said a lot, but I don't know exactly what the valley is.
Yeah, the Valley for me is like the OC. I only my references are from like the OC or Entourage. That's the only Valley LA knowledge I have.
Entourage got it right with what do they call it, like sushi row or something. I only go to Valley for sushi, I think was his whole thing, which is true because it's basically just this strip that's between two. It's exactly what it is. It's a valley between two mountains, but it took me like 10 years to figure that out once I moved here. I was like, I don't get it. Why do they call it the Valley? But yeah, it's like the suburbs of Los Angeles, of Hollywood.
Okay, so what's your story? Where did you move from, and how did you guys get together and start the band?
Where in Wisconsin are you guys? Are you Milwaukee or Madison?
We are in Green Bay.
Green Bay. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to ask because I love the March Cheese Castle, which is in.
I'm from Chicago, so when I go back home to visit my parents, the Cheese Castle is a must stop, especially for my kid. We have to stop.
I don't know what that is.
Love that place. Oh, dude,
man.
you're missing out.
Is it like a roadside stop to pick up like all the cheeses?
It's a castle.
All right.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure
awesome.
that's why I'm lactose intolerant, but it's a great spot. I'm from New York. I grew up on Long Island. My brother who plays drums with us is also from the same household, so we grew up there. And I've been in Los Angeles for about 14 years now, and don't miss Long Island one bit. But
really, what about it? Is because it seems relatively nice, but then I hear things about like stuck up people. Maybe I don't know. I'm not trying to.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's such a big place that people hear Long Island and they think, oh, everybody must know each other, but it's really it's enormous. Yeah, it's a people thing. I think like I don't know if it got worse or you change when you move, or it's a combination of both. But I look back at it and I'm like, I loved growing up there, but I definitely don't need to go back. And Los Angeles is probably no better, but it's good for now.
What brought you out there?
I wanted to be a star, baby. Just
Yeah, man.
No, not fucking at all. Oops.
It's all good.
Yeah. Music. Yeah. Like New York was a really interesting place because there was bands and there was songwriting, and then there was this mass exit of like, okay, cool, all of the songwriters and creatives have now moved to Los Angeles, and it was just very quiet. So it was very hard to try to make any headway if that's what you were going to do with your life. So I kind of came out here for like a little 6-month trial that turned into forever.
Nice.
And I do love it. I think it's a rad place. I do love it here. So I've been transformed into an enthusiast.
So do you, as someone who, I'm from Detroit originally and I moved around quite a
Cool.
bit. I lived down south for a little bit. Do you miss the seasons ever? Because I knew I missed the seasons, the leaves changing. It looked the same every day down there, even in the winter.
I thought I was going to have a major problem with that, and then you just don't. I think the first year you get a little romantic for it, and you're like, oh, I'm going to go back to New York. You realize you go back to the East Coast or you go back to the Midwest, and a week will suffice. And that cold that you want to experience in Christmas season or whatever, you're like, okay, cool, I got my taste, and now I'm going to go back to my bubble where it's 85 instead of below 15.
Yeah,
So,
I remember just one Christmas I came up from down south, and I think it was like 45 degrees in Detroit, and I was freezing. Like I thought this was like 0 degrees.
did you
And
know that? Did you know? Here's a little quiz. Was there a venue in Detroit that you knew of called the I Rock?
yeah, way back in the day. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I was even old enough to go there.
My first band when I was like 16 used to tour, and it's the only place that would book us, and we played the absolute worst shows ever at the I Rock.
It was, yeah, kind of shitty venue, right?
Terrible venue. It was 80s, like in the 80s, it must have been sick, but this
Yes.
is like 2000s, right?
Like the hair rock.
Yeah, so we're playing to an empty room every time we go there. We played there like 3 times because we didn't learn our lesson and we were desperate. And
Nice.
no matter what kind of band you were, the drums were soaked in reverb, so you just sounded like an 80s metal band no matter what it was you were playing.
Yeah.
Every time it was the first Taco Bell I ever saw that had like a bulletproof glass thing where they'd put your food in it and then
And they slide it around.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's Detroit, baby.
And that was our safe place. Detroit. That's my memory of Detroit. It was like
Oh, nice.
the bulletproof Taco Bell, and I loved it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love it.
I want to kind of touch base on your music and your Instagram, because I gotta say, I was on your IG and I just got obsessed. Like funny
kind.
stuff on your Instagram.
That's very kind.
Completely, I feel almost just by the few minutes we've been chatting, a whole different personality.
Really? Wow. Like a sociopath.
Well, maybe. I don't know. I didn't want to say it.
Yeah. No. I have fun on the internet. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like if you talk to a lot of people in bands or in music, it's definitely a really weird time right now because everything is so front facing on social media, and you feel like, well, I got to do that to do music now. And there's definitely days where I feel that way, but then majority of the days I just try to, like, I don't know, make it a bit of a playground. It's all kind of a joke, right? Like it's all just dumb. So I try to have fun with it and entertain myself, and it seems to sometimes make other people laugh, which is cool. But yeah, it feels very much just like a strange place to get to be yourself and not really.
Is there pressure for you guys to be doing the social, for you being there? Because there was a band called the Vala somewhere in Europe that I saw their video on TikTok where they're talking to the label, and the label said, "You guys are great. You guys got it, but we can't sign you because you guys don't have 50,000 followers on social media." I mean,
it like has that changed, or has that always been the case, right? Because it used to be like, unless you have the hit song, unless you've sold 100,000 records out of the trunk of your car. So there's always been a version of it, and there's bands that or artists that are going to absolutely exist within the realm of that and have to play by those rules, and then there's going to be artists that exist that are the exception, that don't really pay attention to those things and somehow just continue and something pops. So I don't know, like I guess if this was like my first band or was my first time ever in music, you'd feel probably equally threatened as you would not realizing that it also is a great kind of gives you the ability to reach people and reach places that back in the day you couldn't. You couldn't just turn on a phone and have the chance to reach hundreds of thousands of people. Granted, 99% of the time you still won't, but there's at least that possibility where it used to take a record label, or it used to take means out of your control. So I don't know. I don't feel pressure personally. I totally get why some artists do, but I just sort of feel like it is this lottery ticket that we get to scratch off every day, and if something happens to win and ring the bell, then that's a bonus. But it's certainly not like our plan A. It's not the everything. It's just this other thing that you sort of do alongside your stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense actually, now that I think about it more, because I always took it from, what Eddie just said is like, damn, you really need like 50,000 followers. But then again, kind of you brought up a point where it's like, we're going back, 90s, 80s. You're really not getting traction if you're not on the radio getting so ever many spins a month or a week or whatever. So you're right. It's kind of very similar, just with different metrics. So
you guys know it better than anyone. There was a point in time where you adding a record could change the trajectory of a band, of their success or not success, especially like in the Midwest corridor. So it's not that it's different. It's just a different medium now. The same way people get pissed off about like, I can't believe TikTok stars are having hits. It's like, well, there's always been pop stars, and this is the current version of that. So I don't know. Like it's all insane, and it's always been insane. It's just now there's AI, and Eddie's scared.
He is. I swear to God, he is.
But
so
the lawnmower I can handle. The auto lawnmower I can handle. I feel like it's going to help me in that situation.
You should patent that soon.
Do you worry about the future of music in general with AI? Just about the way it can just create something like that. Like we can go down into a little bit of a rabbit hole of even, actors, for example. We saw Bruce Willis. He's got this brain thing happening. He sold his rights away for his name and likeliness. So we could essentially have diehards for eternity. Does that worry you about music and maybe like younger bands' futures of, if we can have Michael Jackson forever, we can have Taking Back Sunday forever? Is that something that concerns you?
It's such a layered and nuanced question. I think first and foremost, like technology always scares everybody, right? Like I remember when people in the 80s didn't like a drum machine because it was going to make the drummer obsolete. And then when digital recording and Pro Tools came out, it's like, okay, what's that mean for the analog business? So there's always a version of like everybody freaks out and then it settles and then you find a role for it to play. And I think part of your job as a creative is having to adapt and figure out how you're going to sort of harness these new tools or new ideas and use them to expedite or help your craft or whatever. So in one sense, I think it's a really whatever thing that like, okay, so there's another invention and it's going to be all the craze for a second and it's going to go too far and then it'll come back and it'll settle into something that works within our workflow like everything has previously. The idea of like, copying artists or being able to sell, your voice likeness. And I don't know. I don't know that I can or have even thought that far into it. The romantic part of me wants to think that, of course, we're going to want to connect with the sincerity of a real person and voice, but maybe that's only until the technology is that good. And then you're like, I don't know.
It's very weird. Yeah, I can't remember who it was. Might have been like Kid Rock or something who said like, I don't care. Create a Kid Rock song, sell it for whatever. I'm going to be the one playing it at the shows, and that's where I'm making all the money. So totally. It's just another way to look at it.
Yeah, I don't think any of us have the answers. Is the truth, and the music industry is also in such an odd place anyway in terms of how songwriters / bands / artists can, if they can continue to make livings as things continue to progress. So I don't know, maybe there's a world in which that helps make a lane for it. It's really such a big question mark. And again, I feel like I have a different answer every 5 minutes.
No, it makes a lot of sense though. It really does. America in Your 20s. That's the single that's how I found you. Let's talk about that song. Because it took me one listen to go, I dig this. Let me see who this is. Let's see what's going on. Great song. So talk me through that process of that song and that album.
Thank you. That's really dope. Yeah, I think our whole record in general. I'm married. I have kids, and I don't want to talk about those things or relate to an audience in that way. Not because there's anything wrong with it. It's just not the thing that I look for in music. So I think in sitting down to write this album, it was like, okay, well, how do I stay honest and talk about stuff that feels exciting and thoughtful and makes me want to sit down and do it, but still sort of stay out of that zone. And I think what happened was a lot of sort of reflection on just being younger and being really hard on myself and hating a lot about myself and trying to figure out how to maybe be nicer to that kid and that person who survived all that stuff. And I think American in Your 20s was exactly that. It was just sort of a snapshot of thinking about what that was, and it was incredible, and it was terrible, and it was amazing, and it was painful, and it was all those things. And I think the whole record sort of talks about that and touches on a lot of those sort of inner stories that I think maybe relate to 10 other people in the world who stream it or whatever.
Sure.
But for me, it was like just sort of trying to connect a really personal experience with other people who maybe lived in that same time or existence.
If I were to share the video right now, are you cool with it? If we play the song, hear it, and then talk about it some more? You good with that?
Oh yeah, go for it. Go for
All
it.
right, let me hit some share screen buttons here. Here it is.
Blonde girls in a tennis match, and the one who hits the winner gets an urn of ashes from her late mother in a car loan she can't pay. I'm feeling cute with your gap teeth till the last drum calls you a field goal with pink cheeks. Now you lost any glitter that you once made. Is the party over? Did tomorrow come too soon? Is this what getting older is? The more you know, the less you do. It's nothing as serious or as funny. Is America in your 20s? 26 and an idiot, eating microwave pizza for dinner released. I a white priest in a 2012 class ring. And though my heart is in Tennessee, everyone from my town is either dead or they're married. Well, James says that they both mean the same thing. Is the party over? Did tomorrow come too soon? Getting older as you wake up in your fire shoes. It's gonna take your heart and your money.
Did Eddie? There it is.
Just a boy says he knows you want it. He'll be pulled out cautious through. Drive your Civic going to a clinic. You're in your morning sickness. They never taught this part in class. Nothing serious or as funny. Everybody hates me. Everybody loves me. It's kind of fucked to think that it's lucky to be in America in your 20s.
There we go.
Nice.
I feel like there's opportunities for like placement with that song, like within like TV show montages or like a movie soundtrack of some sort. It's just very catchy.
Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola. I feel like they might have the budget for it. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, no, I see it right now. Like that's a good 15-second, one of those quick YouTube clips, one of those real quick in between the streaming. Coca-Cola. Someone's at an old-fashioned Coke machine. Push the button, boom, you get it in the glass bottle. American
little head of marketing right here on the radio station.
You know what? We're looking out. But I see it. I think that could work.
We'll take Pepsi too, you know.
Anyway, yeah, right.
Yeah, Dr. Pepper, America's second favorite soda, by the way.
Dr. Pepper is?
Yeah, this just came out like 2 days ago. Dr. Pepper beat out Pepsi.
I agree. I fully agree.
It's so good. 23 flavors.
I like doing a diet Coke and then a little splash of Dr. Pepper to party.
Huh.
I never thought about that.
There's a craze right now I'm seeing where it's Dr. Pepper and pickle juice. And I don't know if I like that combination.
I don't know. Why mess with a good thing?
Right?
I wonder who decided that?
You gotta be
2024,
drunk, right?
Man.
Yeah, you gotta be boozed up.
Yeah, you gotta be
watch me do this. It's really good. I did that once with it was Taco Bell cheesy gordita crunches. This was like when I was in my 20s in America, and me and my roommate at the time, we didn't have any more hot sauce, and we had Italian dressing. Put it on there, boy. And I'm telling you, I tried it again sober. Checks out.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, think about it next time.
All right.
Taco Bell just doesn't miss.
No, never. They never do.
Italian dressing on it, it still doesn't miss.
Yeah. Two different traditional cuisines. Put it together.
I might have to swipe left on that one.
Shut up, Eddie.
Try a little marinara on your Mexican pizza. See what that does.
Matt, dude, thank you so much. We're going to check you out in September. You're going to be in Madison with Mother. So I was excited to see that right there.
Yeah, that's a great venue, by the way. Have you played it before?
What's the name of the venue? Do you know?
The Sylvie?
The Sylvie.
No, we haven't.
It's
a nice club.
Cool concept. Kind of a newer building, Eddie was telling me, I think.
Yeah.
We were just there for bleachers a couple weeks ago. And it's a cool venue. I think you'll like it.
It might not live up to the IROC, but I'm willing to give it a.
I mean, hey. You never know, man. But that's a good the IROC. I never thought I'd hear that again.
I could see it. I could
and it was I-ROC too, like the car.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it wasn't like IROC, you know. It was.
By the way, this place was like big. It was like 1,000-seater, and for some reason they would book us, some local band, not even local band, from New York, and we would play to like 3 people.
Were you there when they had like the paint on the floor?
Yeah.
And it kind of looked like a roller derby-ish, like roller skate kind. Yeah.
Yeah, like a roller derby that's never been washed since 19.
Yeah, like a bowling alley meets a roller derby meets like I don't know, but
yeah, I was like
all 80s.
I think I still have STDs from the IROC, but yeah.
You might, man.
Yeah, we'll see you in Madison. Come hang out at the show. We'll kick it.
Yeah, for sure, man. We'll definitely hit you up come September.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, Matt, thank you.
We appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Best of luck.
See you guys soon. Have a great night.